Good morning. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. Beautiful, beautiful, absolutely beautiful day. Great to be with you as always. And as always, many things to talk about. Listen, at the top of my list, Diddy made a very, very strong statement most recently in an interview that he did with Charlemagne the God. Diddy was talking about the unveiling of a brand new black political party. It's called Our Black Party. And in that interview, he made a statement. He said that if Trump wins, I really do believe there will be a race war in this country. I want to get your thoughts about it, family. What does that mean? And is Diddy late to the boat? Also, log off. We are living in a new virtual reality. I want to talk about some of the crazy things and sometimes criminal activity that has been found on some of these virtual learning camera systems and software systems. Have you heard did you hear about what happened with this little girl? Keep listening, family. We'll talk all about it. Parents walking in front of the camera with no clothes on whatsoever. Dope deals going down, domestic violence. It's the new virtual reality. We must discuss it. Plus a smattering of topics on people, politics, and pleasure. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital show that focuses on the Black community, of course, powered by Sin Digital Media. Their message is simple: amplify Black voices. We'll get started in about 1 minute. Don't go anywhere. Please take this time to like and share today's show. I'll say it again. Please take this time to like and share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. We'll start in less than 1 minute. Don't go anywhere.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Jill Schiller has been missing in action, and now we know why. Did you know that Jill Schiller, candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, got away with a dangerous offense? Her friends and connections at Cincinnati City Hall turned their heads when she was racing through a Cincinnati public school zone doing 52 in a 20-mile-an-hour zone. She could have killed a child. As a mother of 3, that's concerning. 25,000 children are injured each year because of speeding in a school zone. 100 children are killed in school zones each year by people like Schiller. Schiller should have served 5 days in jail as the law states, but being privileged kept her out while you, the public, would have gone to jail. Her friends and connections at City Hall only fined her $60, and they quickly destroyed the evidence the next day. We cannot trust Schiller with our school children. Should we trust her to protect and safeguard our tax dollars? Vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. We can trust him to safeguard our tax dollars and our children.
Paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
With the Bloomberg Blunt Business Report, I'm Donna Wilson. It's back to the negotiating table. House Speaker Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin are expected to continue stimulus talks today. Federal Reserve officials warned that the U.S. economy could stall even further without more stimulus aid. And Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic is concerned that the slowing employment gains and the increased proportion of permanent layoffs could cause more pain to Blacks, minorities, and low-income communities. Salesforce Ventures has launched a $100 million impact fund. The new fund will accelerate the growth of cloud companies addressing some of today's most pressing needs, including education and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the jersey that Kobe Bryant wore in the 2008 NBA Finals will be on display at the National Museum of African American History and Culture starting tomorrow. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. How are you? Hope you're having an excellent morning. And I want to make sure that I get you started out right this morning. 513-873-7134. If you should decide to share your thoughts this morning, your thoughts are always welcome. Remember that. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. And I'll ask one more other thing, that you please like and share today's stream. When you share the show, more people see it. Real simple. Good morning to you. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's get started. 513-873-7134. Good morning to you. Yes, good to see you. Good to see you. I had an excellent 24 hours, man. I thought yesterday we had a strong show. Hopefully today we'll have a strong conversation. You know me, I like to mix it up. I will not shy away from the sizzle, but I like to give you a little substance as well and start your day with some with some stories to get your morning started. That's what I like to do. Get you started every single morning. We talk about people, politics, and pleasure, in particular, Black people, black politics, and Black pleasure in particular. That's my forte. From a greater Cincinnati, sort of perspective. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you can get into it. Again, 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts. I'll say it again. Everything you can imagine is real. For all the grinders out there, all the hustlers, keep grinding, keep hustling. It's going to happen as long as you got a good idea, a good plan, and you have perseverance. You just don't give up. It will happen. Everything you can imagine is real. Good morning to you. If you missed it yesterday, I had a very interesting conversation with the school board superintendent, the superintendent of CPS, Laura Mitchell. And that live stream is still up on Facebook, Sin Digital Media. There were some things that were very, very interesting. You know, this is the first time I got a chance to speak with her since the last time that Donnie and I spoke with her maybe a month ago. And there have been some updates. If you're interested in knowing all the details, check out that live stream. For people who care about that kind of information, check out that live stream. And if you don't want to get an update as to what's happening and what might happen, because we asked her to forecast into the future as to, what CPS might do if things get worse in terms of COVID-19. And I'll give it to you straight. What she said is that if Cincinnati, Hamilton County goes to purple, you can expect for CPS to go back to 100% virtual learning. Yeah, 100%. Speaking of virtual learning, we need to talk about it. Something criminal happened, and it got caught on virtual learning. We'll talk about that during the second hour. It's amazing how this new virtual reality that we're living in is exposing a lot of things that we don't like to talk about, like abuse of children, domestic violence, and it also exposed just the cluelessness of American adults as well. But we'll talk all about it. To kick things off for the first hour, though, I want to talk about this. So P. Diddy, he recently did an interview with Charlamagne the God. And in this interview, they talked about the new black political party that P. Diddy is kicking off. And isn't it so interesting? Because just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was like, not really calling P. Diddy out because I'm not on that level at all, but kind of like saying, where is P. Diddy at? 15, 20 years ago, he gave us vote or die. You just going to abandon that? He started Revolt. He started Bad Boy. I mean, he's a get-ish doner. You know what I'm saying? That's what he appears to be. Like when he sets his mind to something and he leverages his resources, then he's able to create new things. So why not create a black party? Now, to this point, we don't have a platform other than it would be for black folks, not minorities, but black folks. And I got no problem with that. I think it's all love. And just think about what's happening here in the age of Trump. And as we get closer and closer to election day, right? 2 weeks away. Don't forget, there'll be a debate this Thursday, and I will be hosting a debate watch party. You know what I'm saying? The Black Debate Watch Party. You can find this on Facebook. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. And there are some new rules. We might get a chance to talk about that as well on today's show. But I mean, we had Ice Cube is getting run through the mill. People said I was hard on Ice. Man, there's people out there way harder on Ice than me. Way harder. Super hard on Ice. I seen a meme this morning, which I don't think is really factually correct, claiming that one of his close business partners is close partners with Steve Bannon, which is true. Like the man who is one of the founder, along with Ice Cube, as I understand it, of the Big Three. And again, you never know the details. I haven't seen their company sort of break down. I don't know who has the most equity in the Big Three. All I know is that Ice Cube has equity, I believe anyway, and he was one of the founders. And I seen a meme this morning in which somebody is like, basically trying to make it seem like because of Ice Cube's business associations, that's why he's out here, tacitly stumping for Trump. And again, as I understand it, I'm not sure if that's true or not. Ice Cube owns a production company that produces all of his sort of entertainment assets, lots of movies, the new Friday, the Friday series, the upcoming movies, a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, people forget Ice Cube is crossed over, man. He does family movies and all kinds of stuff, right? Triple X movies. I mean, he does it all. And apparently, from what people have said, this particular meme, apparently it's not really owned by Ice. It's owned by the white Jewish guy, and he's really controlling. I don't know if any of that's true or not. I just stand by what I said in my own observations. Hey, folks, please take a second to like and in particular share today's show. It means everything. That's all I know. I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't know what he has and what he doesn't have and all. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is now we're seeing 50 Cent out here, and he goes on Instagram within the last couple of days talking about how he supports Trump over Biden because Biden wants to tax the rich in New York, and now people are going at him. I mean, Kanye out here. Some people think that he's a part of a plot to siphon off votes from the black community to help Trump. I mean, damn, all this energy, right? Even the celebrities are coming out. But we want to talk about it right here. 513-873-7134. I got a clip for you. This is P. Diddy talking about his plans and the way he sees things today. Check this out.
You know, that's old Harlem hustler lingo, is when you're in a situation, you're like in a catch-22. Between COVID hitting us and because we weren't organized for this election, we have no choice now to get Trump out of there. Mm-hmm. It's a shame, and it's our responsibility that we did not get anything out of putting Biden in the place he's in after the primaries.
They gave us Senator Harris as the VP. I mean, those are some of the things we were asking for. Black agenda could be way stronger, way stronger. He said he put a black woman on the Supreme Court. We don't even know if that's gonna happen now.
Hey, when you look at it, we don't have no choice. You know what I'm saying? You can say what you want about Biden. I can't say I love the pick either, but hey, we gotta get him in office and then we gotta hold him accountable.
So how do we do that? In addition to voting, what else is Sean Combs gonna do?
From Trayvon Martin, I've been trying to figure out like how can we end this? Trying to think about solutions, because you could be angry and you could march, you could protest, and people could hear you, but that don't mean that they're making any changes. So for me, it was us looking within ourselves and saying, let's not wait for these people to come and save us. Let's not wait for the Democratic Party. Let's not wait for government. Let's own our politics. Black politics. We need to own that. We need to have a platform, an institution that's going to support and breed young Black politicians and social leaders that have integrity, not just in the quiet rooms, publicly.
One question about race in the first presidency.
One question about race, and I was hurt. I didn't feel like Joe Biden really defended us. I want to make sure we don't miss the importance of this time. We've never had a political party. We wasn't born Republican and Democrat. We don't even get we don't get talked about. We're not a topic of conversation. And we can stand by and keep on doing the same thing. Yes. Right now, let's stay focused on Trump. But let's start to fight for our futures. And politically, the only way to do that is by what we're doing with our Black Party.
So what impact do you hope to have in advancing our political interests with our Black Party?
You know what it's about is like-minded people being able to have a place that they can meet and they can contribute. Because it's not about one person. This whole thing is set up on unity. Will we be able to finally have Black unity? Because if we don't, we're on the verge of becoming extinct.
So what does Black political power look like to you?
Black political power, it's all rooted in the education, and to be in control of our destiny, not putting it in somebody else's hands that's coming from outside of the community or doesn't have the community's best interests at heart. And that's success.
So that's P. Diddy talking a little bit. I mean, I could pick it back up a little bit later. I don't want to spend the whole early part of the show playing an audio clip, but that was P. Diddy breaking down, why he started this Black Party, Our Black Party, OBP. Well, it is what it is. And, in terms of his ideas, a lot of it makes sense. I get it. What I would say about this whole thing about a race war is that, I would say that there's already been a race war against Black folks. I mean, look at Black Wall Street. If that's not taken upon as an act of war against the Black family, an act of aggression, I don't know what is. I mean, just look at the conditions of Black folks as compared to our counterparts in this country. We don't arrive where we are today if there wasn't a systematic approach to keeping us down, period, whether it be the judicial system, whether it be the access to capital system. I mean, it's across the board. So when people say race war, I mean, I think they're talking about like people in the streets and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not sure if I really see that. You might see some skirmishes or a story here or there of some people that get out of pocket. I mean, most definitely, because people out of pocket all the time these days, right? That would be no different. But in terms of like some national civil war, I don't see it. I don't see that. What I would say is that the systematic approach to keeping black folks down can be looked upon as an act of war. It depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, in terms of the war for the competition for resources, if you look at that as a war, yeah, for sure. You late to the party, bro. That's been going down. I mean, again, if you just look at it. I mean, here in Hamilton County, if you look at it, in Cincinnati, if you look at it, a tale of two cities. As you look at the quality of life, if you look at the quality to healthcare, you look at the quality of capital, the types of schools, right? The student loan debt, the debt in general, the percentage of people who own their homes, the percentage of people that have equity and or have some kind of savings, the percentage of people that, have any kind of investments in the stock market whatsoever. I mean, all that didn't just happen out of coincidence, right? There had to be a systematic approach to it over hundreds of years, some of it mental, a lot of it physical. I'm with it though, man. I mean, listen, I think P. Diddy, if he wants to start an our black party, great. I just don't want him to do some dumbass Ice Cube stuff like what Ice Cube did, giving either side, some kind of upper hand or some campaign fodder, and they haven't delivered equity, policy, intangibles. But that's just me. What do you think? 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts, that is my number. Feel free to use it. All I ask is that you open your mind before you open your mouth. That's all I ask. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. D. Wizzle writes, good morning, all. Brian writes, morning. Cruther writes, good morning, Choppers. Pat writes, good morning. Sharp writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Tracy writes, hi. King Kobla writes, will there be more black murals than black people in OTR in coming years? More black murals than black people in coming years. That's an excellent question right there. You know what? Can I use that? I might circle back around. That's an excellent question, quite honestly, when you think about it. It's a damn shame that we have to ponder that, King Kobla. Miss Tiffany writes, good morning. Brenda writes, happy Tuesday. Clue Magic writes, grand risings, Nate and Choppers. Pale Robeson writes, hi, guys. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Ayatollah Flomani writes, 50 said, F them taxes. Trump can wear a Klan outfit at the inauguration. F Biden. That is exactly what your boy 50 Cent said. He was like, man, Trump might not like black people, but his tax plan favors me and my pockets. And then people on social media went super hard at him like, look at this idiot over here. Look at this black man willing to sell out his own people just to make a few more dollars. I mean, that's what happened. Matter of fact, I think I got a screenshot of it for you. I put up on the screen. I didn't anticipate bringing that up this morning. You got to check this out. It's just a screenshot of his Instagram in which he made the statement saying basically like, hey, it is what it is. I'm about that money. And I wouldn't expect anything less from 50 Cent. Here it is right here. Check this out. Yeah, he put, what the F? Vote for Trump. I'm out. F New York, the Knicks never win anyway. I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62%. Are you out of your effing mind? So those are the top tax rates under the Joe Biden plan. That doesn't mean that's exactly what rich people or the 1% will actually end up paying. That doesn't mean they're going to actually end up paying that. He's just saying that may be like his baseline. I don't have a problem with it. And the reason why is because if you're rich in America, you living good, homie. You got money. If you got money in Cincinnati, you living good. You're living real good. And you gotta pay to make sure that the rest of the country, the rest of the county, the rest of the city, right, doesn't fall into the abyss just for you to make more money. I'm just saying. We all connected in this. It is what it is. It is what it is. Simple as that. I know it might be some wealthy folks like, Nate just saying that because he's not wealthy. Well, you can say what you want to say. All I'm telling you is that if you're wealthy in Cincinnati, you are living real good. That comes with a price, man. Simple as that. Look out for your brother. Simple as that. Let me see. Diddy sound like a fool. All the ish that gas happened with no race war, but a Trump re-election is gonna spark, huh? The Negro loves to stir up emotions. The Negro loves to stir up emotions. Yeah, but if you listen to and watch the entire video, Diddy wasn't talking about Trump supporters per se. He was talking about black folks. And I'm with you, Flo Medi. I don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? I don't see that happening. I really don't. I mean, Flo Medi makes a good point. You know, it's a whole lot of stuff that have whipped up emotions inside the black community, and that's never happened. Whenever you've had so-called, if you want to call it race riots, it's been white folks. If you look at the history of race riots in this country, it's white folks that got in their white fragile feelings because of black excellence and black progress and decided they was going to go to Bucktown. They was going to go to Black Wall Streets, and there's been numerous so-called Black Wall Streets, and destroy it. And typically what we found is that the provocation was a white woman, a Karen from back in the day, who complained or said that a black man did something to her. That's how Black Wall Street happened. That's what happened. It was a black man and a black woman that was in an elevator car. She comes running out claiming something happened. Next thing you know, 300-400 people in a mass grave. So, and to me, looking back at it and knowing human nature, that was just the provocation or the reason that people used to destroy stuff that black people had. It wouldn't have mattered what it was. So, I mean, P. Diddy seemed to say, or Diddy seemed to say, like, well, black people ain't taking it no more. And he's right. You know, it's a whole new mentality out here. But a race war? I think that if it's going to be a race war, if that's even something that people have a stomach for, it should be a race toward capitalism, right? But I mean, the real race should be inside the black community in terms of an evolution of what we think is important, a coming together of black families. I mean, all that in the streets with pitchforks and torches and stuff. I mean, it sounds good to some people, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection. Drop Squad 52. Coming in live and direct from the left coast, California. Yay! Home of Ice Cube, also known as O'Shea Jackson. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. You are animated, and I love the energy.
Mr. Ivey, day by day, the closer we get to the election, the wider the black divide gets, the wider the enthusiasm gets. I mean, the enthusiasm gap gets. And Mr. Ivey, like I've been telling you for the last couple of years, 2020 will be the turning point in the black electorate, mainly led by young black business people. And lo and behold, Mr. Ivey, it started with Kanye West from the hip hop entertainment world. Then it was followed by, guess who? O'Shea Jackson, part of the entertainment world, Ice Cube. Then guess what? It was followed by Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent from the entertainment world. And then over the summer, during the riots, we had, guess who? Killer Mike from the hip-hop entertainment world. We had Cardi B campaigning for the Bernie Bros. And guess where she from? The entertainment industry. Now, Mr. Ivey, don't you see a pattern right there, my brother? All those individuals that I named, they earn their money in the entertainment business, which is run by white Jewish men. These black men and women, they know what is required to navigate in the entertainment business so they can make their money. They got to deal with white folk. So again, Mr. Ivey, Joe Biden and the desperate Democrats have a huge problem in their monolith base. Now, there's a big event happening tomorrow, Wednesday. Things are getting desperate now, Mr. Ivey, because on Wednesday, tomorrow, America will see their beloved first black president, also known as the Magic Negro. And we will find out if Barack Hussein Obama can close the black divide and close the enthusiasm gap that has been exposed by the hip hop entertainment world. Now, Mr. Ivey, thank you for letting me get that flow out.
Yeah.
I can hang up, but if you let me, I got like three little things that I just got to mention.
Go ahead.
One is hold the Democrats accountable is what's going on right now with these black entertainers and businessmen coming out speaking against the Democrat Party. That is the problem, Mr. Ivey. Everything that you said in your monologue is a result of the desperate Democrat Party not being held accountable. All this distress, all this pain, all this anger coming from the monolith base is because the Democrats have not been held accountable. And the last thing before I go, the coon train was running strong on the tracks on Twitter last night. And two overseers got run over last night by Drop Squad 52. Brother Mazone on Twitter, and of course, my arch enemy, Glenn from Mason, the Mason Mauler on Twitter. They had the audacity to think that they could handle this Drop Squad Twitter experience. But guess what? Not. That's all I got, Mr. Ivey. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Can Barack Obama save the Democrats? Peace.
He is a showman. I give him that, man. that's Drop right there. He is. He taking those phone calls and turn them into shows. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him whatsoever, man. Appreciate the energy. So what happened on Twitter? Damn it. He said, my arch enemy, huh? Oh, my God. That black man right there. That black man right there. Oh, that black man right there. Listen, if you missed it, you can find it on Facebook right now. Sin Digital Media had a very interesting conversation yesterday with the superintendent, Laura Mitchell, and about numerous things. We talk about 504 plans. So if you are a parent that has a 504 plan in particular, you might be interested in that. Go check it out. And also about, the COVID-19 related issues for parents that may have concerns, just an update on what's going on. And I'll just glean some of it for you as it relates to COVID-19. So all of the adults in the school building have been tested for COVID-19. Now, the one thing that I was remiss in is getting a follow-up question in about whether that is ongoing testing, right? Because you can get tested at the beginning of the school year, but what about a month later? Are you still COVID-free? We don't know. What about 2 months later? So will this be once a month? Will this be once a week? I mean, how frequently are the adults in the building going to be tested, right? So that's still an open question that I just don't have the answer to, but maybe that gives you some comfort. And that means all of the adults. That means if you are a custodian, if you work in the lunchroom, if you come inside the building, then you are COVID tested, period. And that's a relief. Good to hear that. Also, as the governor is ringing the alarm about Southwest Ohio, I mean, some of the things that the governor's been saying, man, it's like, where you been, bro? We needed this. Mike DeWine is sounding the alarm when it comes to COVID-19. And he did this. He said that basically Southwest Ohio is running out of time, which begs the question that came up yesterday with the superintendent. So if that's the case, then why are we allowing kids to go back to, in any case, in-class learning? Wouldn't it be smart? Wouldn't it be prudent just to wait? And what's the expense of this? What are we really losing? I think that health is the biggest issue. You should always come down on health, in my opinion. But Mike DeWine said, quote, we're not seeing our emergency rooms overcrowded or our ICU rooms overcrowded yet. But at this rate, this is going, we could see that. So overrun ICU rooms. Think about this. Quote, this thing is roared back, Mike DeWine said on Friday, adding every indicator is trending in the wrong direction. Well, you know what, Mike? If maybe you had stronger leadership, if maybe you were standing up and saying the right things when Trump was coming to town, because he's a super spreader. Maybe if you didn't succumb to the business owners and you allowed us to stay in quarantine or put us in quarantine longer, right? Then maybe we wouldn't be here, Mike. I blame the leadership. But what we found yesterday is the superintendent said that essentially the line has changed. So initially when we talked with her about a month ago, she said that if we're in the red, then that's a cause for us to remain in virtual learning or to go back to virtual learning. Now she's saying we got to get to the purple, which is the highest level, right? And by then, will it be too late? Will it be too late then? It's spreading faster around greater Cincinnati. The Southwest Ohio COVID-19 incident rates are double what the White House considers a high incident level. So think about this. Now, you know that the White House is trying to play it down. Mike DeWine says that our incident rate in Southwest Ohio, that's what Cincinnati is double what the White House considers a high incident level. We are double what the White House considers a high incident level for the virus. So why are the kids back in face-to-face school? Why do not remain in virtual learning until at least the end of the year? We haven't even hit flu season. Now, talking with Laura Mitchell, she has answers for everything. She had answers for everything. And basically the answers are they feel like they've done a good enough job to create an environment in which the spread can be lessened and or can be identified. I think that time frame, she said, is like 11 hours. Within 11 hours, if they have a kid or someone in the environment, then they can get that person tested and isolated. But you know what? This just goes back to the fallacy of man, thinking that we can control everything. I got to point it out. It's the fallacy of man. And by man, I mean humanity. To think that we can control everything, that we can control Mother Nature. We can control the weather. We split the atom and we can now duplicate clones. And so now we think we can do everything. And as I slept on it last night, it sounds to me as if CPS is doing as much as they can, as fast as they can. I give them their props for that. But there's only so much that you can do. I will use this analogy, the same analogy. And I forgot to bring it up yesterday, perhaps in a future conversation. And as I look at this color code, let me put this on the screen right here. As I look at this, it reminds me of a fire. And I'll use this analogy once again. Feel free to use it on your own. We should look at COVID-19 as if it is a fire. We should look at COVID-19 in our city, in our county, the same way we would look at a fire that's in our house. You would run out of your house, you would grab some of your possessions, and you would remove your family from the environment if there was a fire in your house. You would wait till the fire department shows up, and you would not re-enter the home until the fire had absolutely been extinguished. You would never do that. That's the way we need to look at COVID-19. But we keep looking at COVID-19 like, oh, okay, well, the fire isn't all the way out. It's not burning as bad as it was before. We got it contained just in the kitchen. So it's okay to go up to the bedroom and just act like, hey, business as usual. We would never do that. We would never do that. We are nothing more than guests on this planet. We're nothing more than guests, and we don't have all this control over everything that we would like to believe that we do as human beings. The arrogance of human beings to think that we're going to control the virus. We can't even see it. The scientists don't even know a lot about it, but somehow we're going to control it with filters. We're going to control it because we get everybody tested. We're going to control it because we got a whole bunch of smart people into a room, and they told us there was a way to control it. There are some things, ladies and gentlemen, that are just out of your control. There are some things that are just out of your control. And we need to understand that. And it seems like we don't look at that. If that's not a fire, I don't know what is. Ohio, and in particular, Southwest Ohio, you can see it down here, is on fire, period. It is what it is, family. And we should be reacting accordingly, in my humble opinion. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. We got Black Russia on the line. Hey, good morning, Black Russia.
Hey, good morning, comrade. How are you?
I'm doing great, comrade. Welcome.
Thank you. Hey, I did check out your interview with Donnie and Dr. Laura Mitchell. I think Donnie said something that was right. She didn't sound the same as she did during the first interview. I think it was about 4 or 5 months ago, like when the pandemic was first hitting and things were going like virtual. She sounded like she was forced to do some ish she don't want to do, for real. If you ask me, I think she understands the concern of COVID-19. I think the numbers are going up all over the country. That's what the science is. But yet they're still talking about going back in person to some form or fashion. I'm just like, somebody's twisting her arm to do this. So like, with her being the superintendent, she's insulated from the politics of it. So I got to look at the Cincinnati school board and wonder, well, what's their rationale? They've been awfully quiet. Like, I was seeing Ryan Messer out there for a minute talking about reintroducing kids to school. Now we back in red, and DeWine's coming down here, to Cincinnati saying, hey, things ain't looking good. And now he's nowhere to be found as the vice president of the Cincinnati school board. I heard nothing from the president of the school board at all. I've heard Ryan Messer do more talking. Now he's been silent. So I guess from my perspective, they're going to just walk into this fire. They're going back in the house while the house is still on fire. I agree with you. They're talking about explosion in cases. You're going to see that Cincinnati public schools of 35,000 kids? Even if you have them and send them part-time, there's going to be 15,000 kids in buildings at one point in time, 4 or 5 times a week. Man, they playing with people's lives, man. I don't get it, but I was saying they just keep it virtual. Everybody just gotta, younger people, younger kids, students, or rather, people just got to deal with that, or send their kids to private or make some adjustments. But, to me, it's a dangerous scenario. They're playing with fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when it was brought up to her, and I think I read a comment from the audience. It was a parent saying, "Hey, keep it virtual? It's safer." And Laura Mitchell responded, as she said, basically, there's just as many parents that want them to go 5 days a week. And I get that. But we also have to understand that what's important here. Is it important to appease parents, or is it important to protect children and families? And to me, it's important to protect children, students, and families.
Yeah, I agree with you. But see, that's the pressure. People want to say we shouldn't make COVID-19 political. Well, too late. It is political. And so now, and I heard your analogy yesterday. You were saying about good, well-wishing people who are in a conundrum sending their kids to school versus folks who don't believe COVID-19 is real. I think there's more folks out there who believe it's real who are in a conundrum versus Trump supporters. I mean, 70% of the kids that go to Cincinnati public schools are African American. I'm going to just assume that makes the majority of parents in the Cincinnati public school district African American, just by the numbers. They're not listening to them. I think they're listening to the taxpayers who are actually the property owners. There's a few African Americans who probably own homes in the district, but there's probably more Caucasian folks who got their kids tied up there who want to see them go back to school. So it's become political, unfortunately. And Laura Mitchell's caught in the middle of that because she's apolitical. And I'm just like, hey, I ain't heard nothing from the school board. There's 7 members of the school board, including my boy Ben Lindy. I ain't heard from my boy Ben Lindy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't heard from Carolyn Jones. Ain't she the president?
She is the president, yeah.
I ain't heard nothing from her.
You're right about that. I'm going to reach out to each and every last one of them and get them on the show and see what
they
they
need
think
on the
about
record
it.
for this one, because Laura Mitchell's now the mouthpiece for them, and they're not explaining, and she's insulated from politics. This is almost like city manager form of government where you got the city manager gapping, but like the city manager's gapping for the mayor or city council. You see what I'm saying? Like they're playing the same game with the superintendent. They all need to get on the record. And it's election year next year too. I think half of them up for election. They need to get on the record about what's going on right now.
They do, instead of waiting until 2 months before, and now they want to come out and be all in the community's face. This is what we need. We need to hear from you right now.
Exactly,
Speaking of Ben
right
Lindy, man,
now,
I reached out to him on Facebook a couple of times and have yet to even get a response back with Ben Lindy. But yet when he was running, man, he was calling in on his own. So I'm just saying, I mean, I know that we had some...
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I am going to do that.
So
I would do it for him, Ben Lindy, Carolyn Jones, anybody else. I'm just giving you facts.
I hear you. I'm just saying, like, you reached out to all the other 6 members, and what response? I know you got Morosky on there, so I'll give you credit for Morosky. But outside of that, bro, where they at?
You're right about that. I mean, you got to reach out to them. I mean, I can't hold somebody accountable for if I haven't reached out to them. So if I reach out,
but if you reach out to Lindy and he ain't responded, that's on Lindy. He need to respond.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I reached out to Lindy. He didn't respond.
Hey, that's on Lindy. He need to respond to you. I agree with that, but I'm just saying to you, like, everybody need to be on the hook for that one.
I agree, especially all of the school board members that voted to go back to a hybrid system. Yeah, those are the ones that need to be held accountable. Those are the ones that need to come before us and explain it. And those are the ones that need to hear it, because I asked the superintendent, like, who's responsible here? Because she's an easy target, right? But if it's really the responsibility of the school board, then that's where the focus should be. Still there, brother? I'm not sure what happened to Black Russia. Hey, I didn't cut you off, Black Russia. Let's try it again. You still there, Black Russia?
Are you still? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I'm sorry, my phone was tripping, but
yeah, it's all good.
If you talk to Ben, if you Lindy never responded, he need to respond to you. But I put the same thing on Carolyn Jones, Messer, the rest of them. They've all Bowers, and especially the ones who's running again next year, who's going to be asked for votes next year.
Right.
I think 3 or 4 more for next year. That's the majority. They
Right.
need to be talking to you
Right.
about what the hell's going on, because they're going to run with Laura Mitchell out here, and she sounds like she got a gun to her head doing what people are asking her to do behind closed doors, and the real decision makers are hiding behind her. They need to come out.
Absolutely.
Bring them out. Bring them out.
Absolutely. Hey, Black Russia, thanks for the call.
Yeah, appreciate it. Take it easy.
The first one I'm going to reach out to, Ryan Messer, Carolyn Jones, Pam Bowers. I'm going to reach out to Ben. I'm going to reach out to all of the school board members again today to see if we can get them on to explain their vote and get a sense of their view of where they're coming from, because he's absolutely right. We haven't heard enough from them. We keep talking about the CPS superintendent, and for good reason. I mean, she's a source of information, obviously, and she has big decisions to make, obviously, but these school board members are complicit in what's going on. And I know that some of them listen to this show. And if you're listening, feel free to call in at any point, 513-873-7134. I will be reaching out. We want to know, how you're arriving at this conclusion. And are you aware of what's happening now? It's very, very important. Good morning to you, 513-873. 7134 if you want to share your thoughts. Now, we got a lot of things going on today. We're talking about multiple conversations at one time, per usual with the show. Main topic for at least the first hour is Diddy. He says if Trump wins, I really do believe that there will be a race war. And so I was kind of breaking that down. What does he mean exactly? Race war. And do you know anything about the history of race riots in this country, which are the closest thing that we've ever had to race wars, right? And if ever there was a race war, hasn't already been a race war, right? Perpetrated against non-white people in this country. I mean, come on now. Let's keep it 100. We talk about the destruction of Black Wall Street. If that wasn't an act of aggression, if that wasn't an act of war, I don't know what is. I mean, here in Hamilton County to this day, you've got nonprofit organizations that are fighting the good fight, trying to get equity, policy, and parity, and also some positive health outcomes for Black babies and Black mothers. Now, if that's not an example that there aren't some race war type of activities, oppression still ain't real, I don't know what is. I mean, Black babies in Hamilton County struggling to get to their first birthday. Black women in Hamilton County struggling to get to a 1-year anniversary after giving birth. How is this possible in polite Cincinnati? Think about it. So I get what Diddy's saying. I think his idea is long overdue. He wants to start the Our Black Party. Cool. I want to hear more. I'm 100% about it. Just don't do that Ice Cube-ish, man, and get played. Just don't do that. Anything but that. Also, I want to talk about the new virtual reality. The new virtual reality that we're living in. Have you heard about some of the latest things that have been caught on virtual learning? Now, I posted a link maybe about 3 weeks ago, and it was more lighthearted, showing like little kids, first graders, kindergartners, second graders, just trying to adjust to this new virtual learning environment, right? And it's hard on them. Like, I've got a 5-year-old and it is hard on them. And some days are better than other days. But at that age, he just wants to he's fidgety. He wants to play. You know what I'm saying? And we are very, very aware that there are cameras in the house. But, I kind of feel like we don't really do anything differently. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd like to believe that we have a positive Black family culture that we're building inside our household. It don't matter whether this camera is on me right now. So what? We're going to do the same things no matter what. But have you seen some of in some cases, hilarious, in some cases, just jaw dropping, and in some cases, man, there's some things that are just plain up make you mad. There's a case of a little girl that they found out she was being abused on virtual learning. Apparently, she thought she turned her camera off, but she didn't. And then the teacher and some of the kids saw that this young girl was being abused by a relative that was in the house. Now, this man, 18 years old, has been arrested, and the little girl the whole thing has been exposed. But I mean, it just uncovers the plight and the circumstances that a lot of young folks, or some young folks, or people in general, are dealing with. Domestic violence situations are being caught on there. I haven't seen a video, or at least a still shot of mom, Black mother, who forgot the cameras on. She's leaving the shower, walking past. Like, Mom, there's a camera here. Oh, my bad. Come on now. But I get it. You at home. You feeling comfortable. I get it. I understand. You can't be comfortable at home. I get it. Cassandra writes, hey, choppers. I'm inside the chop shop. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nate and the choppers. Hashtag flows ready to eat for everybody. Don't feed the animals or QTCs. Hashtag no vote, no opinion. Hashtag John Lewis says vote with good trouble. Tracy writes, the celebrities coming out are 1%ers. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Mike Jones writes, good morning. Good to see you. Mike Jones writes, civil war. I don't see it. I don't see a civil war. I don't see it. I don't think Black folks got it in you. I don't think we got it in us. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see it. If the past is the best indication of the future, if there were any kind of racial civil war, it'll probably be non-Black people that launch the first offensive, because that's what they've done in our history. It is. That's why I love the book, and I always recommend it, The Black History of the White House, because the brother does a good job of detailing a lot of these racial riots that were committed against Black people, non-white people. White folks were the perpetrators in it throughout the history of time. And our history books, we don't teach kids that. We don't teach kids that. It's very, very rare that it's very, very far and few between. Yeah, we'll talk about the Black Panther Party here and there, and we'll talk about the Civil War, but they don't talk about what happened afterward. You know what I'm saying? They might mention Black Wall Street now, but they'll stop right there as if that was the only incident in which it happened. Happened anywhere there was Black excellence. White folks in the American history came in and tried to stop it. Whether they had to firebomb you, shoot you, put a noose around your neck, makes no difference. That's the history of it. So, in my opinion, looking at that past, if something like that was to happen in the future, we know who the perpetrators would be. I mean, it wasn't Black folks that bombed the Oklahoma City building. I'm just telling you. Just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? But we want to psychoanalyze the Black family and what's wrong with Black folks. Well, we know what's wrong with Black folks. You. We got it. It's real simple. It's real simple, homie. Look, don't resist these. There might be a temptation to turn away because it's too real for you. Don't do it, homie. Stay with this. Crystal writes, good morning. Good to see you. See, Cassandra writes, 50 don't give a damn about nobody until we stop watching Power. Right. Well, I mean, listen, I appreciate a man or one man or whoever just gives it to you straight. 50's about 50. He don't care if Donald Trump don't care about Black people. If that's in fact the case, I mean, you got to make your own mind up about that. 50 cares about keeping his money. He worked hard for it. Let me see. Brother Zone writes, 9 shots needs a revisit to 50. This time all 9 are fatal. Hashtag F 50. That's funny. Nathan Ellis is in the house. He writes, good morning, all. Hashtag Michael Lee. Hashtag build black wealth now. We all know that if we open our paycheck and saw a 62% tax, we'd be pissed. Most hourly workers already hate working too much overtime due to the 46% rate. Oh, you're right about that, Nathan. You know, you're right about that, 100%. Nobody wants to see they check eaten up by the government. You get it. We get it. But a lot of these 1%ers, man, are not even paying that particular tax. That's why the tax code is so big, to allow wealthy people and 1%ers to find creative ways to shelter their money. That's the whole point. If you're just a working Joe, you don't have a business, you don't. The vast majority of the tax code don't even apply to you. But as you start acquiring properties and, you know, having businesses and LLCs and things like that, and you start making some real cake, that's when the tax code opens up to you. Just saying. So a lot of these people belly aching, man, they got very smart tax lawyers that will come up with very smart and creative ways to shelter their money so they don't pay that. Come on, we know the game. Ayatollah writes, the trigger man is in the house. Is that right? Miss D writes, greetings. Oh, man, that's hilarious. Is that Drop? Who's the trigger man? Drop bootleg VHS THN animation. Not sure what that means. See, the Mike DeWine threw Dr. Amy Acton under the bus. Did he? She said, I'm out of here. Laura Mitchell is the superintendent, not the board. People need to realize that is not all on her shoulders. A lot of us couldn't even walk in her shoes. Yeah, I mean, again, I just see this now, Tracy. I think I said it earlier. I agree with you 100%. You know, it dawned on me yesterday that, you know, we keep coming at her for good reason. She is the superintendent, but what's up with the school board? Where they at? What's up with these black school board members? I mean, how many black school board members do we have? We got Carolyn Jones. We got Pam Bowers. And that's it. There's no black male representation on the Cincinnati School Board, even though the CPS is comprised, 65, 70% of black students. You know, black people, the black family needs to have a louder voice in what's happening with CPS. That's off the top. That's off the rip. Because the black family voice is not really loud enough, I don't believe, as it relates to CPS. And your constituents are us. We are your constituents, overwhelmingly. Now, we can't overlook non-black parents, obviously, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? If you got a school board that's 70% African-American, what does that tell you? I mean, the numbers are clear to me. So I'm curious. I mean, how do they feel about this? Why did they vote the way they do? We should be asking them the same questions that we were asking Laura Mitchell. We should be asking, and I will be asking, the school board members. Yeah, and again, it dawned on me yesterday. I'm glad that Black Russia made that point. I agree with you 100%, brother. 100%. All right, and looking at the time, I got to make a move. First break for the show. Got a couple things. So support our sponsors. That's number one, support our sponsors. When you hear political advertisement, it's just that. It's a promotion. It's not an endorsement. I am not endorsing any candidates. I do have strong opinions about the candidates, and you can take that for what it is, but no endorsements whatsoever. Those are promotions. I've got some black business news for you from the Black Urban Report, Bloomberg Urban Report, and then we'll come right back. All right, it's the Nathan Ivey Show, Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the black community, brought to you by CDM, Sin Digital Media. We'll be right back, family. Don't go anywhere.
Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
With the Bloomberg Black Business Report, I'm Donna Wilson. Black homeowners pay more for their home loans than whites. According to a new study, Black borrowers pay more than $13,000 more over the lifespan of a home loan than their white counterparts. They're charged higher in interest rates, mortgage insurance, and tax expenses, which can ultimately hurt an African American's ability to save for retirement. The biggest reason for the home loan gap is the risk-based pricing in most mortgages. And here's a downside to a controversial executive order. Texas State University says it will stop its diversity training programs after the Trump administration threatened to cut federal funding for universities that offer diversity training that favors a certain race or sex. And that's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
This is Zoe Wesson. There are a few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a Black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote, paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
And the Bloomberg Black Business Report, I'm Donna Wilson. It's back to the negotiating table. House Speaker Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Mnuchin are expected to continue stimulus talks today. Federal Reserve officials warned that the U.S. economy could stall even further without more stimulus aid. And Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta President Raphael Bostic is concerned that the slowing employment gains and the increased proportion of permanent layoffs could cause more pain to Blacks, minorities, and low-income communities. Salesforce Ventures has launched a $100 million impact fund. The new fund will accelerate the growth of cloud companies addressing some of today's most pressing needs, including education and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the jersey that Kobe Bryant wore in the 2008 NBA Finals will be on display at the National Museum of African American History and Culture starting tomorrow. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Get ready to be engaged. Get ready to be informed. Get ready to be a lion. Get ready to be enraged by the man City Beat Magazine called a talk radio rebel. And your host. Now back to the show.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Quick break. Welcome back, Nathan Ivey. The Nathan Ivey Show, Sin Digital Media. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're having an excellent day. Anything you can imagine is real. Don't let these people get you down out here, man. Make it happen. Impossible is just an opinion. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. There you are, up on the screen. Good day to you. Let's get into it. If you want to share your thoughts, you got my number right there. Always welcome to do so. Listen, if you're coming across this show for the first time, this is a daily digital talk show based in Greater Cincinnati. And we chop it up, more of a conversation-based topic show. We talk about, we have interviews with local folks, from time to time, national folks, authors. If it's hot and relevant to our community, I'm talking about it. And you're always welcome to be a part of the conversation. Speaking of which, let me go straight to my folks on Facebook and YouTube this morning. Alicia writes, guys, morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Ballhead writes, good morning. Will there be more black murals than black people in OTR in the coming years? Excellent question. Crystal writes, good morning. Deshauna writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Your show yesterday was very funny to me. The callers in the comments about drop. Drops all right by me. Y'all leave him alone. LOL. Nathan, they need to leave you alone as well. Listen, anytime you put yourself out in front of human beings, anytime you do a show, you get in front of a camera, you get in front of a microphone, you're going to get it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. I've told that to people that I work with, when I've seen them, getting their feelings about things. It's going to come with the territory. It's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? I remember I've talked to many, many guests over the years, and some of the comments can get heated. And they'll sit me up like, Nate, did I say something wrong? No, you did. When you get out in front of people, when you present your ideas, you open yourself up to be critiqued. It comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? I did reach out to, I believe, Cam via text. And, they try to rock with the brother because, I care about that relationship. And I don't want to be misunderstood, right? But at the end of the day, I stand by everything I said. It is what it is. And, the show goes on. It is what it is. Like I told you, on February 2nd, I keep saying this, on February 2nd, I almost died. I was almost out of here. So a lot of this little stuff these days, I'm super mellow these days, man. Super focused and super mellow. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't really affecting me, then it don't affect me. So, people are entitled to their opinions. That's the other thing. People have opinions. And I've learned that in this business. I got super thick skin. I can be sensitive sometimes, like every other human being. But I got super thick skin when it comes to this right here. I just want to get better. I want to present it to you in a way that you really like it. And, sometimes, you're going to have some disagreements with even within the family. I got two brothers, man. I got a brother that's 7 years behind me and 9 years behind me. You know what I'm saying? So you already know we've had it out. Knock down, drag out fights, the whole 9 yards. But those are my brothers. We can fall out, but we don't have to fall all the way out. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at, any issues that may come up on the show. Now, what I do get not defensive about, but what I do feel like I need to correct is when people mishear me. You know what I'm saying? I'm very strong about speaking my truth and people understanding where I'm coming from. So you'll hear me from time to time correct folks or give them the proper angle to look at what comes out of my mouth. But at the end of the day, people are who they are. It's all love. I don't have no hurt feelings. We all family. It is what it is. Kara Mitchell writes, good morning. Deshauna writes, speak your mind and keep it real. I love it. Well, every day, all day. You wouldn't want to listen to the show if I did anything different. Why would you? Why would you tune to a show and listen to somebody or watch somebody that's like Mike DeWine out here, spineless? Just whatever people say, he goes with it. If I agree, I agree. If I disagree, I disagree. It is what it is. And not really worried about any feelings. And to me, it really ain't that serious. Brandy writes, good morning. Brenda writes, good morning. Florida Family writes, good morning, Mr. Ivy and the Choppers. Now 50 saying vote for Rump. Shaking my damn head. Yeah, he is. 50 is saying vote for Rump. That's right. Trump. Take the T away. He is. And you might see more of this. There's a lot at stake. You know what I'm saying? If you're a first-term president, what do you want to be? You want to be a second-term president. If you're a first-term city council person, unless you got something bigger in mind, what do you really want to be? You want to be a second-term city council person. We already know it. They get their name up on the wall. Now they are somebody. They can hold press conferences. They got a little power. I got the power. And power is intoxicating to a lot of human beings. I get it. And the thing, the way politics works is Trump doesn't have to call 50 Cent. All he has to do is just keep doing what he's doing and people will be drawn to his side. So it is what it is. If 50 believes that way, cool. Hey, Fast Pitch writes, good morning, all, except the Karen and Darren trollers. And good to see you, Fast Pitch. Of course, she's the host of the Valet Service Podcast coming up today at 7 p.m. You can watch live on Sin Digital Media and give us your thoughts. I'm not sure what you're doing in the evening, but it'll be great for you to chime in and say what's up to Fast Pitch. She got a very interesting topic tonight, talking about secrets and what you should and when you should reveal them to people that you're close with. Have you ever had a secret? And did you tell? We'll find out. Dale writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Good morning to you. Lynn writes, good morning. Good to see you. Charlie Winburn's in the house. He writes, good morning. Good to see you. Graston writes, good morning, Alt Middle. Good to see you. Andrell writes, morning, Nate. Good morning to you, Andrell. Kelly writes, good morning. Akeem writes, well, Pac always said, you don't know what's really going on. Carmelita writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. Good morning to you. Where's the Choppers at, man? We got to get the Choppers in here. Why doesn't Diddy want to create another party? Or why does Diddy want to create another party? I say rather than reinvent the wheel, create a strong faction within the Democrat Party using our leverage created by black women. I'll tell you what, Daryl, if I had to choose between what you just said and starting our own party, I would choose starting our own party. And I would say that because I believe that the descendants of slaves that live in America have a unique relationship and a unique history with this particular country that's unlike anybody else that lives in America. And I also believe that the descendants of slaves have been the victims and the focal point of a unique brand of discrimination that's hundreds of years old. And it has a unique and has had and continues to have a unique impact in our community that's unlike the way it impacts anybody else. I think, so I know there's people out there like ADOS and FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and they're in line with that as well. Like their focus, and I believe ADOS focus is the American Descendants of Slave, and FBA is Foundational Black Americans. So to me, that's all pretty much the same. It's a shame that those two parties are kind of at war with one another. You know, one, of course, is founded and started by Tariq Nasheed. The other is started by this brother and sister combination. It seems like they're at odds with one another, which is a shame. Some more of that divide and conquer. But it is what it is. You know, sometimes it's going to be like that. And I think that they're on the right path, Daryl. As I said before, I don't want to reiterate it, but I think that there is a unique experience. There's been a unique crime, a unique protocol, a unique program that's run down on our families that's unique to anybody else and has been unique to anybody else in their American experience. And to address that, there needs to be a unique political push as well that that's tied to that unique history and experience. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you're wrong. I would also say that black people have tried to create a strong faction within the Democrat Party using the leverage of their votes. And to this point, it hasn't been successful or successful enough. That's what I would say. It has not been successful or successful enough. So as Diddy said, it's black insanity to continue to do the same thing over and over again without trying something new. You wouldn't do that in your business. Like if you were selling lemonade and you just got a little lemonade stand and you took some random corner and you made a little poster and you started selling lemonade, but nobody bought it, you wouldn't just continue to stay at that one particular spot. You might think, there might be a better location. You might think, I need to advertise, right? You're not going to just keep doing the same thing year after year and lose money. And I don't think that the black family should continue to do the same thing year after year after year and lose equity. See here. Oh, I'm getting a message real quick. Hold on. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Man, somebody's telling me that Kurt Standifer passed away last night. Really? Damn, that was a good brother right there, man. Kurt Standifer, anybody know Kurt? I'm not saying I know him like that, but, you know, I've had, you know, some conversation with him from my days back at WAIF 88.3. A very valuable voice in our community, man. Just got a text message saying that. And I know some of his people as well. So, man, you know, RIP, rest in power to Kurt Standifer. Is that true? It's coming from a very credible source, so I'll take it to be true at this point. Yeah, anybody know Kurt Standifer here in the Cincinnati area? It's a stand-up good brother right there, man. See, he passed away last night is what I'm reading. That is not good news. Prayers and condolences to his family. RIP to Mr. Standifer. Yeah, I had interaction with him many times. You know how it is. You know, he tried to pull me to the side and school me. He saw I had potential. You know what I'm saying? and would just kind of school me from his perspective. He seemed like a good guy. Damn, that's hard. Damn. Telling you, man, Finn, live every day like it's your last. Carmelita writes, I think either way is going to be bad. Either people will be emboldened or they will be afraid. Are you going back to the Diddy quote? Well, here's what I'll tell you. Number one, Trump is not the leader of anything per se. He's just the president right now. He's the one that's out in front. These people, these QAnon folks, these white supremacists, these white militia groups, they are going to do that anyway. They want to do it anyway. Trump is just the guy up in front that can use that as an excuse. So when we say, oh, Trump is bringing out these people, well, yes and no. They already felt that way. The Karens and Darrens and the white militias and the white supremacy groups and the QAnon folks, they already felt that way. Trump is just the prism, the lens that they can kind of focus things through. You know what I'm saying? Long after Trump, these individuals and their children will be around with these kind of mentalities. I'm just telling you. I hope the FBI is watching these groups because they are the problem. You run around here talking about Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Man, knock that off. You need to be following these QAnon folks. That's the new face of crazy. It's like modern day David Koresh. It's like Jim Jones. You know what I'm saying? Some might say that Trump has more control over these people than Jim Jones had over the folks that he took to some country in Africa and made everybody drink cyanide. Remember that? Telling you, people can be led astray real easy. Nate, we always talk about holding a president responsible, and we forget that we have senators and congressmen and women to stay on. As we have seen, a president can only do anything with the backing of people around him. Well, you're right about that, but I mean, just look at what's going on right now with the local party here. So you got the Democrats and Republicans running ad campaigns. But in particular to the black community, what if any of them in particular promised to black people in particular? Like, what exactly have they promised to the black family in Hamilton County? Yeah, they'll say, hey, listen, the Democrat judges are better than the Republican judges. And the Republicans will say that the Republican judges are better than the Democrat judges, right? The Democrat candidates that come to us, they all over black media telling us that they're better for us. But in terms of what they're promising, what they're going to actually deliver, what is that exactly? I mean, I got my personal viewpoint about how I feel about, you know, people in the first district. Let's say that first district race, first congressional district race. You got Kay Schroeder versus Steve Chabot. Now, in my particular opinion, it ain't even close. But has Kay Schroeder talked exactly to the black community about what that means for her to be the representative there? Has Steve Chabot spoken directly to the black community about what that means if he will continue to be, you know, the representative from the first congressional district? To my knowledge, no. So here we go again. You know, it's more of this. Let's talk after we get into the office without a real agenda or real plan or any even real specific policies to us. Now here, I've talked to a lot of Democrats and I've asked them these questions. And what happens is they start to yabba dabba do. A lot of them start to yabba dabba do. I remember talking to Kay Schroeder, maybe it was last year. She was it was doing a primary, and I got a little yabba dabba do. When I asked her specifically about, you know, black people in your district, you know, her pivot was, and again, I get it, but her pivot was, you know, talking about things that will impact black people, which I get, because you can have policies that will kind of be like a rising tide and lift everybody. I'm with you on that. We need those policies. But if we all agree that there's a uniqueness to the descendants of slaves in this country, then there should be a uniqueness in the term political policies that is going to alleviate some of it. Stop me when I'm wrong here. And I haven't really heard that. If we want to be specific to the black family, I haven't really heard that from anybody. You know, it kind of be like, it's real cloudy, right? Let's start talking about the community in general and things like that. So we'll have to wait and see. Arnell writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the fam, good morning to you. Deborah writes, good morning. If Biden wins, then there will be violence. Well, if somebody wants to commit violence, it doesn't really matter who wins. It doesn't really matter. So the Proud Boys is out there talking about we ready for war, Trump loses. They want to do that no matter what. They're going to do that no matter what. Right? If there's elements of any part of our community that wants to commit violence, it doesn't matter about an election. This is something that's in them. They might use the election outcomes either way, as window dressing, but the reality is that that's what they want to do. That's how I look at it. Brent Rice, good morning. Nathan Choppers checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good to see you. What's up with them Cowboys, man? Iona Rice and Rosewood. But again, once you get deep into some of the reading, what you'll find out is that what happened in Tulsa happened all over the country on various levels to various degrees. What happened with the Black Wall Street massacre has happened all over the country, wherever there were examples of black progress, wherever it was perceived by white folks that black people was trying to get on par with you, all of a sudden we got a problem that can only be solved with gunpowder and murder and meth and mayhem. That's the truth. That's the truth. There's no, I don't have to sugarcoat a damn thing. It is what it is. Dale writes, yes, entertainers do represent us to our chagrin. Crystal writes, so disrespectful, the magic Negro. Well, he says that because Rush Limbaugh says that. He just loves him some Rush Limbaugh, speaking of drop. He loves him some Rush Limbaugh. David writes, hold Democrats accountable. Nothing new, right? Brent writes, Drop wouldn't know what a monolith was if it hit him in the head. He might. David writes, showman, more like Liberace. Well, Liberace he put on a hell of a show. Liberace was a hell of a showman. The outfits, the hair, the skills on the keys. Kendall writes, good morning. Good to see you, Kendall G. Yeah, you know me. TNT writes, what about students? If so, because of his lackluster leadership on it, absolutely. Grasson writes, Trump is winning. Dill writes, I wish Nate would put drop on call allocation per week. Really? I love his phone calls. He gets the morning started right. Greg writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Everyone is succumbing to right-wing extremist thinking. It makes no logical sense to have in-person school during a global pandemic. They should stop school for an inch of snow. They will stop school for an inch of snow, but jeopardize students and teachers with a deadly airborne disease all the way to level purple. I agree with you. I agree with you, TNT. No, I don't. No, it's not. It's the wifey hooking me up. She's like, okay. No, I agree with you completely. Everything you're saying makes sense. And what I don't understand is, I got a better understanding talking with the superintendent. And I hate to ask the same question over and over and over again, because I hate to be asked the same question over and over again, right? I think most people do. But I hear her argument, her rationale. We heard it yesterday. Okay, we get it. But I kind of feel like, matter of fact, I can play it for you. I can just take it straight from our Facebook page. You can hear it for herself. Matter of fact, I think I'll do that before we roll out this morning. And if I don't today, then I'll chop it up and do it for you tomorrow. But again, the entire show is live streamed and archived on our Sin digital media page. Go ahead and check it out. You can check it out for yourself. But essentially, the superintendent believes that they've got the safeguards in place to have the safest possible in-school learning option. But I'm with TNT. Let's take the in-school face-to-face learning option off the table. Again, I've talked with teachers who, it's like the damn mafia with CPS in some levels. I've talked with parents who are afraid to talk about the actions of teachers and administrators, which I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? You do some dumb ish with me, we going to blast it out there, period. And you going to get blasted too. There might be a couple teachers who already know what time it is. It is what it is, homie. But I've talked with teachers, parents who are like talking hushed tones and come over here. Keep your voice down. I'm not doing none of that, right? But because the real is the real. And there are teachers who feel like they can't speak. I've gotten messages from many teachers on the low. I never put anybody's name out there, but I've gotten many messages from many teachers, black and white, this year who've heard the show and have been like, Nate, here's the real deal. I just got some last week. I might get some after the show today. And what it tells me is two things that, that's what happens when you don't work for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or you working in an environment which is kind of sensitive. Let me be fair about it, because I've been there too. I get it. I'm there now. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But, the real is that you're putting all the adults at risk, because the adults are taking the biggest risk. Like if you're a child, your kid, they're just on A, B, or B, or C, or whatever, and they're only going to see that same, amount of students, half of their class. The teachers got to see all the students in person. So I feel for you, man. I really do. People want to know who is this task force panel that is pushing this. Well, the superintendent said yesterday that they've got some parents out there. A lot of parents are sending emails. They got emails from kids. And, for me personally, that's cool and all. I would read them and all that kind of stuff. But if I'm in a leadership position and my authority is over children, I'm always going to do what's best for the children in terms of their health and well-being, whatever that is. That's my baseline. And if people don't like it, then so be it. That's just me. And you can send your emails in or whatever. But if I feel like something is the right thing to do, anyone who knows you knows me and tell you about that. I don't give a damn what is said. I'm going to do it, period. And if we fall out or you don't like me or we got an issue with it afterward, then so be it. We can talk about it. I'm a very personal person. I like to believe that. But if I feel like something is the right thing to do, that's what I'm going to do. Period. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I would look at it from the CPS standpoint. It's all about what's the safest thing to do. Now, Donnie and I talked a little bit afterward, and, just dawned on me, let's forecast and kind of predict what we think is going to happen. And we both agreed. I think many of you agree that we can see a time in the near future, let's say next month or this calendar year, in which, let's say it's December, when CPS goes back to virtual learning. I don't know. I don't wish that, because that means they've probably got a lot of, positive tests. I don't wish that. I don't want to see that at all, actually. So I'm thinking about the babies, but it is who it is, and we are where we are. And I think this is COVID-19 should have, like one effect that COVID-19 should have is to underscore just how important the school board is. And just to underscore just how important it is to have people and voices, men and women on the school board that really represent the interests of us. And I'm talking about CPS parents in general and black parents in specific, right? That's what I think. What do you think? Entering flu season and the weather changing, there will be more sniffing, coughing, sneezing kids who now have to move their masks to blow their noses entering school. Parents who have to work will send their kids regardless of self-diagnosing and determining their kid don't have COVID-19 when they don't really know. TNT, you're so right about that. There are some trifling parents out there that will send their kids to school knowing that their kids are exhibiting symptoms that could be COVID-19. There are parents that will send their kid to school knowing that their child has COVID-19 because it benefits them and their job. At the end of the day, all of us, we can say otherwise, are God's little selfish creatures. And in most cases, we're going to do what benefits us. That's what's going to happen. All this altruism, and I care about the community. Yeah, to a point. And that point is right up until when it starts to really, really impact something you really care about. And then it's all about you. Now, I don't know. For me, I can't see myself doing that. But again, I don't have to worry about that right now. I feel for the parents. Katie writes, public schools are in a funding crisis. It's very sad. They're basically being forced to open for the funding. The government needs to help public schools this year and probably next. Their funding should be based off last year's enrollment. I agree with you. TNT writes, teachers are afraid as well. Yes, they are. Terrified. Lennis writes, good morning, brother Nathan Ivey. Good morning to you. I saw an IG or TikTok you with teachers online with their classes. Was funny, not serious like Nate is discussing. Yeah, let me talk about some of the serious stuff that's happened. So this is very, very sad. This happened up in Chicago, where a 7-year-old first grader was about to take a break from her remote learning class. And this was first reported, it happened last Thursday. Okay, it happened last week on Thursday. So this 7-year-old first grader was taking a break from her remote learning class. And that means that if it's anything like my son set up, then the child or the parent has to hit the disconnect button. And there's a couple ways of disconnecting from those virtual learning situations. You can disconnect your audio, disconnect your camera, or you can disconnect from the whole session, right? So apparently the young girl thought that she was disconnecting either her camera or from the session, but she did not. And the other students were in there and they're watching. And what they found is going to be graphic, family. It doesn't make me happy at all to report this, but what they found was that one of her relatives, an 18-year-old that was in the house, was sexually abusing this young girl. Apparently the teacher saw it after the students are like, what's going on, right? And if you've never been in that situation before, man, those kids can make a lot of noise, right? They'll start clamoring and chatting and calling the teacher. Man, listen, if my son's teacher is not in the room when the kids get in there, she got about 5 seconds. Good morning, son. She got about 5 seconds before the kids are like, Mrs., and they calling her name, Mrs. It becomes like a chorus. You want to say good morning, buddy? Come on, say good morning. Say hello to people. Camera's right there.
Hi.
Okay. Get there some love. Yes, I love you too. All right. Have a good day. That's my boy right there. Yeah. That is my boy. He is developing nicely. He's going to have a super crazy ambidextrous game. He's cool with the left hand or right hand. Watch. Anyway, Alicia writes, that camera works both ways. Parents have called teachers saying teaching racist views and being interrupted and corrected by parents. Yep. Yeah, some of these teachers, man, I like it, though. There's some things about the whole virtual thing that I want to make sure it stays around. So, like, one thing, if we ever go back to normal, they should keep the virtual, like, after-school assistance. You know what I'm saying? Because typically what happened is your kid had to stay after school and then go to the teacher's room to get some assistance. But what they're doing now is doing it virtually. They should keep that as an option. It's so much easier. They will have more students, I think, that would take advantage of it. And then just in terms of how businesses are communicating, I think that it's going to change a little bit. But let me get back to the story. So, happened in Chicago. The teacher sees that this young girl's being sexually assaulted. Taken advantage of by this 18-year-old that was in the house. They send the police straight over there, right? When they initially interact with the young girl, she lies, trying to protect it. She was afraid that her father was going to find out. Could you imagine this happened to your baby? We ain't got to talk tough. We already know what was going down. We already know. And now this person has been arrested and will be held accountable to it. But just imagine if there was no virtual learning, nobody would even found out. And did the little girl leave it on? Was it really a mistake, or was she like crying out for help and trying to let somebody know what was going on? The hell? And apparently from what they found out is it wasn't the first time. This was like the latest in a series of abuses that was happening with this young girl. All came out on virtual learning. It all came out on virtual learning. All of it. And hold on here. You got teachers that have been caught saying racist things on virtual learning to the students. I got a video for you. I'll play it for you here in a second. And you can check out the latest outrage. But you know what? I mean, it is what it is. It's what's supposed to happen. You show me a teacher that gets caught saying something racist on virtual learning. What kind of teacher is that going to be really for our children? I mean, think about that. Let me see. Tuning in a bit later this morning than when you started, Nate, do you have an opinion on 50 Cent endorsing Trump? Or is that just a so what kind of thing? Yeah, I got an opinion on it. I mean, my opinion is, kind of like so what? I mean, Are people going to be swayed by what 50 Cent said? Maybe. But if you're the kind of person that was persuaded by 50 Cent, you're a very persuadable person. You're probably going to be persuaded anyway. Is 50 Cent some kind of like political oracle where people are looking to hear what he thinks? No. No, not at all. Do I think the Trump campaign put 50 up to it? They might have been, maybe. They don't even really have to. They don't really have to. 50 might have did this all on his own. 50 might come out today and say it's just a joke. Like I was just joking. It might be some Instagram type of stuff. So we don't know, man. I'm not reading a whole lot into it. Not too much. Just be mindful of your surroundings after election day. Absolutely. You're right about that, TNT, but we should be doing that anyway. Yeah, keep your head on a swivel at all times. You should be doing that anyway. Being black in America in particular. Sean writes, good morning, people. Good to see you. Dill writes, that's because the wealthy aren't paying their taxes. Damn, people wake up. Greg writes, I don't watch 50's show, but to me, 50 will always be one of the dopest rappers. That said, his tweet made it appear to me that 50 cares more about the fact that Biden's tax plan will take a little bit more from the wealthy than Trump's does, than the fact that Trump practices politics of division. That's exactly what 50 said. He said it himself. He was like, yeah, I know what Trump is. I put it on the screen. So I know what Trump is. So what? I don't care. Trump doesn't like black people. 62%? Are you out of your mind? 50's about the money. But it's a lot of people about the money. There's a lot of black capitalists out there that's all about the money. They like, man, we ain't going to fix everything tomorrow, but I want to keep my dollars, quarters, and pennies. I get it. 100%, man. Whatever's important to you. Ozzy let black men down, hashtag said. Now, why are you going to drag that up, man? Did Ozzy let black men down? Yes, he did. And why do I feel confident saying that? Because Ozzy called into the show and said that. He said he let the he let the community down. He said that. He didn't say black men, but he said the community. That's what he said. So if he said that, then that's what it is. I'll take his word for it. And you remember Ozzy Davis, black man, was on the school board, but then something happened with his reelection bid. I don't think he got enough signatures to get on the ballot or something like that. I think that's what it was, right? So, big moment, right? So again, he said that, but as I understand it, he's running again, and I'm glad to see him running again. Sometimes you got to take a step back to really, get everything in proper focus. Maybe that's what will happen with brother Ozzy Davis. I wish him the best. We'll see. CPS being predominantly black, we should definitely be pushing the narrative. Yeah, we should, but we don't. Why don't black people push the narrative with the Cincinnati School Board is a better question. Why don't, if black people predominantly, black parents are predominantly, those being represented, or should I say, if black students are predominantly the students in CPS, then why don't black parents have a louder voice in what's going on in their school in particular and in the district in particular? And I would say organization. There's been no organized, or should I see, maybe it's out there already and I just missed it. Please set me straight. But there's been no organized push to create the infrastructure that would create a narrative that really matters. There's been a whole bunch of people talking like this as separate entities. Like I said, when you walk into a meeting with anybody, you walk into a meeting representing yourself, it's like, yeah, okay. They'll try to do a couple things. They'll try to glam you. They'll try to glam you. They'll try to pacify you. Or they just straight up ignore you, right? That's what I've seen from CPS. They try to glam you. They try to pacify you. Or they try to just straight up ignore you. Like literally, won't even return your phone calls or your emails. Like literally. And you can have a life or death or really, really serious issue going on. What? Stop me when I'm wrong. We may need to organize, I didn't even read this before. We may need to organize black parents to challenge the board on their irresponsible logic that is placing students in danger. You absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that, TNT. I'm with those efforts 100%. Like if somebody feels that way, hit me with a direct message and I'll be in contact. I know that Donnie put out a message on her Facebook as well. So if you're interested in being a part of something like that, hit me up. Let's do it. What are we waiting on? Like I said, I had a heart attack in February, man. I want to do everything right now. I don't want to wait on nothing because I might not be here next February. You know what I'm saying? Woody writes, happy risings, brother Nathan in the chopper. Stay blessed, stay safe. I did get it in yesterday. I live in the Clifton area. I won't tell you exactly where for obvious reasons. People be showing up talking about emancipated or emasculated eunuch. Come on, man. Let me be me. Let me live. Let me live. Let me live. Let me do me. Okay. And drop an issue in my mailbox. But so I live in Clifton, right? So I got it in yesterday, family. Walked downtown, down Sycamore Hill, and then walked all the way around the Channel 12 building and came back to the residence, right? Near UC, secret location. Got it in like an hour. It was good too. It was nice and rainy. I love this weather. I love it. This is great weather to work out in. Love it. All you got to do is bundle up, man. You get going. It's great. And I have to do this. It's not about vanity. This is not about how I look. It's about how I feel, how this works, this heart of mine. That's what it's all about. C-Dub writes, a.k.a. Charles Winburn writes, a great show. Thank you, Mr. Winburn. Appreciate it. And your support. Using this platform. Sean writes, if we have a race war, African Americans would not stand a chance on numbers alone. I don't see a race war. Listen, there needs to be a race, an intellectual race. The first race that needs to happen in terms of race, the first war needs to happen internally with the black family. We need to get our ish together. We can talk about white folks and white supremacy. We can talk about all of that. But until we heal the black man, until we heal the black woman, until we heal our relationships and get our ish together, nothing else is really going to matter. That's why I support all those efforts of people that's doing that out there. I support all those efforts because that's what needs to happen. Until we deal with our trauma, where's Brother Ron Hummons at? Until we deal with the trauma in our communities, until we heal our family, then everything else will be negligible at best. We're never going to get it right in terms of our external relationships with other folks and this country until we get it right inside of our own families. We get our ish together. Anybody agree with that? 513-873-7134. To me, it's real simple and plain. You know what I'm saying? Start at home. It starts with your family. It starts with your, literally, I mean, what I do for us starts with what I do for my family right here. My relationship with my wife, my relationship with my daughter, my relationship with my son, my relationship with my mother, my brothers, my sister, the relationship I have, you know, with the people that I can reach out and touch. It starts right there before we can do anything else outside of that. If your home ain't right, how you going to step outside your home talking about what you want to do? Where they do that at? Where's that successful at? It may be in the cartoons, but in the real world, you got to start with yourself. Just like in a personal relationship, right? Before you run out here trying to get married, talking about you want somebody to love you, you got to love yourself. Same thing with the overall black family. You know, we can't expect for the Democrats or the Republicans or anybody else to show us love if we ain't showing no love. You know what I'm saying? That goes right up to Black Lives Matter. Like, I get it. And I understand there's a difference when people say, well, what if black lives really matter, then why is black people killing black people? But we got to circle back around and have an honest conversation about that. There's something to that. 100%. Now, I completely understand that most people throw that out there as a response to police brutality as a way of not having a conversation. But beyond that, there's some elements of truth in that. We demand and love from other people for us, but don't love us in some cases. It's got to start at home. It's got to start at home. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the Democrats. It ain't the Republicans. It's us. It's not white supremacy. It's us. You know, it starts at home. Let me see. Sandra's in the house. She writes, "Thank you, Nate, for keeping it real." Absolutely. And we got to catch up. It's time to do that. Anime writes, "Up, Nate." Lynn writes, "Good morning, great people. Good to see everybody." Woody writes, "Who will be next to suck up to Don the Con?" We got 2 weeks left. Hard to tell, man. It's hard to tell. Telling you, it's been quite amazing the way that people respond. But if you know anything about human nature, it's really not that much of a stretch. Let me show something to you here that just underscores, should I say, the length, the way that some people will go to curry favor with Donald Trump. Okay, maybe you've seen this before, maybe you haven't. But there's a black man named Vernon Jones. Anybody know who Vernon Jones is? Vernon Jones. He's a U.S. rep, and he was crowd surfing at the Georgia Trump rally without a mask on, crowd surfing over a crowd of people that don't have masks on. And this is a black man. Let me show you what the latest clown buffoonery looks like, just so we can all understand. It ain't Ice Cube. It ain't Ice Cube. It's this brother right here. Look at this. Check this out. This brother, his name is Vernon Jones, family. Crowd surfing. Now, I can understand you got a bucket list. I get it. You've always wanted to, I don't know, jump out of a plane, or you've always wanted to be in a rock band or something like that. Look at these fools smiling. Look at this fool right here smiling. You see these fools? No mask on. He got people all grabbing them, touching them with no mask on. Look at the crowd. You can see a lot of people with no mask on whatsoever. And he's got a big old smile on his face. Now, what somebody needs to do is take one of those clown images and put it right where his face is. Because that's the number one clown of the day. Looks like a damn fool for several reasons. Number one, COVID-19. And so if you don't know, crowd surfing is when there's a big crowd of people and they're really tightly packed together. And so the first time I saw this is like in rock band. So what they'll do is they'll jump off the stage into the crowd, and the crowd with their collective hands and collective strength will basically pass this person. Just imagine you might have done this with like a volleyball or like a beach ball or something like this. And essentially you can surf over the crowd. And this man thought it was a good idea to do this. And clearly, this was a move to get attention from Donald Trump. Jones used to be a Democrat, but he is a Democrat. He turned out to be a strong supporter of Donald Trump. Quote, "This isn't about me and COVID. This is about helping Donald Trump get elected." That's what this black man said on the news, y'all. He said this on the news when they asked him why he did what you watching right now. He said, "It's not about COVID and me. It's about helping Daddy. It's about helping Donald Trump." We are living in the last days of common sense, my friends. That's all I can say. I understand you a Trump supporter, cool, but you crowd surfing with no mask on? Hope it worked. Hope you got Trump's attention. He'll recognize your contributions. Let's go to the phones. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world, as well as the choppers. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Welcome. John from Florida.
Yes, sir. Yes, cloudy, messy, bad traffic. So I said, let me take advantage of this. It's funny, as I tuned in, I was listening to you talk about this. I forgot that Democrat's name there in Atlanta, but often I listen to different radio stations across the country, and one station, WAOK, which is out of Atlanta, Georgia. A sister yesterday morning was talking about this Democrat. They know who he is. They said he flip-flops all over the place. See, it shows you right there. There is no loyalty to the Republicans and Democrat Party. They don't give a damn about the American people. If they don't know what they see or what they want, or if they're not getting, should we say, they're only there to pad their pockets when they get in that office. A lot of them. I know some of them go in there with good intentions. They want to change this mess. But when they get in there, they see the mess that it is. They can't change. Then they say, well, let me make the best of it for 2-4 years. Let me pad my pocket, and then I'm going to get the heck out at some point in time. So, but this guy's a flip-flopper. You know, as you stated, he's was supposed to be a loyal Democrat, as the sister was stating too, but he flip-flops all over the place. They said his agendas and some of the evil stuff he was doing there in Atlanta, Georgia, and supposedly he was up for charges for a couple of things.
Really?
Wasn't clear about what some of the stuff that he did. But let's just say Trump got to him a long time ago. Just like, I don't know if I didn't have a chance to see if you hear your feelings on Ice Cube and why he was doing what he did. But I accidentally was clipped into a YouTube, and I forgot the brother's name that has his pod show on the Heavyset Brother. He was interviewing Ice Cube. It was a very interesting interview. And Ice Cube, now that I'm clear about.
Said Heavyset Brother. You mean Roland Martin?
Roland Martin. Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't think of his name at the time. But Roland Martin talked about had interviewed him. It was a nice little interview. They went back and forth, and he has an agenda and a program. And I think the impression I get from the interview is Ice Cube he did state many times he's down for black people. And if you're along his agenda, his program, if you're looking to want to change, he don't give a damn, who he sits at the table with. Okay, I understand that. So, but he never said he was endorsing. He did say that. He said he didn't say he was endorsing anybody. He just wants to sit at the table and see how can we move black people forward. And I understand that. I agree with that 110%. I said the same thing. If I had a chance to sit down with whoever's in the White House, if they're talking about moving black people forward and not just giving me lip service, then I'll sit down with him or her. So it doesn't really matter. But this character, this guy that was surfing, I'm surprised nobody, as he was surfing in the crowd, nobody reached in his back pocket and grabbed that wallet. I guess they didn't think about it. They were so busy moving him forward. But that's insane. I saw that video myself, and I saw the YouTube surfing of him. It looked like he was on a wave there. But, characters like that, they're only in there to pad their pockets, get something, give out crumbs. Trump is only giving out crumbs. But, the more, you must agree with me, and I don't follow polls. I think polls, at the end of the day, when it's all over, polls are way off the mark, just like 2016. Polls were way off. They predicted this and that, a slam, Hillary's going to, and what do we see? The polls are off the mark. And here we go again with the polls, and they preach to something, and the media too, on the networks. Oh, this thing look like it's closing in. Trump has maybe a couple of points behind. Yeah, stop that stuff. Why do they brainwash people like that? Why do they do that? It's going to come down to the main thing, as you stated many times over the years. People got to come out and vote. And the bottom line is, yes, as much as I want the rat out of the White House too, yes, I want him out of there. And I don't really trust Biden. You know how I feel about him. I don't trust him. I think he's giving us lip service too. But at the end of the day, the least of the evils, as you stated many times, you'll take him. But I'm going to watch this last debate Thursday night. And if I don't hear nothing on reparation, flip a coin, because I don't hear nothing. And this sister that's taking up, you know who she is? Have you seen her interview many times? Yeah, she's on the MSNBC. I see her. You know much about her?
You're talking, do I know much about, are you talking about the next debate host?
Yes.
Okay. And you asked me, do I know a lot about her? I mean, I've seen her on TV a few times.
Yeah.
On separate shows.
I'm wondering how much control. I mean, yes, okay, she's on MSNBC a lot. I see her on there, off and on, and she does nightly news a little bit. But
right.
Is she going to be
Kristen Welker? Kristen Welker.
Is she going to be in control and not let Trump run rampant all over the debate? I'm glad that sister that did that in hometown hall didn't let Trump take control. She slammed him and made him answer the question, even though he wasn't answering nothing, because everything out of his mouth was just a big fat lie. But I wonder, I'm going to watch this last debate. I've only watched bits and pieces of these debates, and because I think it's all a joke. But this last one, I want to see if this host is going to force Trump to answer the questions, or he's just going to talk over her, yell and scream. And
there's only so much he can do. I mean, the moderator can't force the candidate to say anything. Now, what I'm reading now is they're going to put some things in place that may give them a little bit more control. So, like during the opening, they're going to cut the mic of the person who's not talking so that the other person has full control. What they're not going to do, as I understand it, is give Kristen Welker basically the dump button. And that's what I would suggest. I would suggest that the moderator, him or herself, can hit the button themselves because they should be they're the referee. And when the referee has to blow the whistle, that's the same as blowing the whistle. Then the referee just blows the whistle. That's not going to happen. But they're going to put some new measures in place to allow for people to hear everybody clearly.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I'm like you. I wish the moderator had that button. So Trump started. If Biden is trying to respond to something, and Trump thinks he's going to talk over him, bam, cut him right off. Now, excuse me, Mr. President. Mr. Biden is trying to answer the question. Please remember the rules. Well, we saw what happened in that last debate, and they both agreed to the rules. And what did Trump do? Constantly talk over Biden, cut him off. Biden was presidential and let him talk, but Trump never answered any questions that moderated. I mean, the guy Chris, whatever his name on Fox, he lost complete control of that debate. He might as well just packed his little bags and went home because he lost control. He let Trump get away with what he wants. But let's just see what happens, and I'm most curious to see the questions, the response, and you know what I want to hear is reparation. I know it's not going to happen, but I want to hear it. Answer the question on reparation. And don't give me lip service because I don't want to hear that.
All right. Hey, John, thanks for the call, man. Take it easy.
Right.
Yeah, appreciate you. It's John from Florida. He said he want reparations. I'm with it, man. Give me some reparations. I'm cool with that. What non-white person is going to say no to reparations? Nobody. We're going to take it. Bring them on in here. So Kristen Welker, and this is coming up on Thursday, so you got a couple days. But Kristen Welker is going to be the next debate moderator. Would you like for me to put her image up on the screen? I can do that. Let me see if I can find a good image of Kristen Welker, and people will know who she is. This damn fool crowd surfing. Then people know, you probably recognize her. Like if you follow MSNBC, any politics or anything like that, you're probably going to recognize her. You're probably going to recognize her. 513-873-7134. She'll be your next debate moderator. And Trump is already criticizing her and has criticized her in the past because, unless it's somebody that's from QAnon, then he don't support him. He don't even like it when it's a Fox News host that does the moderator, just does the moderation, or who is the moderator. So it is what it is, man. Fast Pitch writes, not at all surprised about 50. He bullies people online like the Trumpkin. So he probably sees Trump as being a political gangster. He probably does. Speaking of which, coming up today at 7 p.m., you got let me take that off the screen here. You got the Valet Service podcast coming up with Fast Pitch today at 7 p.m. You can watch live on Sin Digital Media. And of course, before that, at 1 p.m. today, you got Midday Juice is back with Ask Ashley. She's doing big things. She stayed busy. Glad to be working with her with Sin Digital Media. Check out Midday Juice. If you got any questions that you think are interesting or you would like to hear an objective viewpoint on, you can email Ask Ashley at Ask Ashley, and it's ASHLEE, Ask Ashley at gmail.com. And she'll welcome your emails. All right. That's Tuesday and Thursdays at 1 p.m. And again, we're just getting started. There's more programs coming online. I want to remind you that in a partnership with Shanghai Imaging, Sin Digital Media is looking for the next great female podcast host. We're looking for a female, opinionated, for a relationship podcast show. And when I say relationship, that really doesn't give you the best insight. Like, Ray, this is about relationships, but it's about so much more. And it's a very different idea that I haven't seen anybody do in terms of a podcast. We're looking forward to that. And if you're interested, you can hit me with a direct message. And the idea is that for all the interested parties, we'll be asking you to make a 3-minute video, no longer than 3 minutes, and answer just a couple of questions. You know, tell us a little bit about yourself, why you think you should be perfect or you would be perfect to host a relationship podcast. And also give us a relationship/dating interesting story. That's what we're looking for. So when you see this around, this is being pushed on social media right now. Please like and share it, and share with anybody who you think fits the description. Yeah, and I know there's a whole lot of interested parties right now. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me see. Was JJ in Africa or Mexico? JJ? No. Sean writes, yes, the local level must be the focus. Ron writes, there is no policy, and yes, you are a major donor in the game. Well, you don't have to be a major donor to get policy. Number one, you just got to write the policy. It's got to make sense. And then secondly, you got to create the infrastructure to push the policy to the politicians. That's what I think. Jim Jones took his followers to Guyana in South Africa, not in South America, not Africa. And there they all killed themselves. You know what? Thank you for the correction. Appreciate that, Greg. Jim Jones took his followers to Guyana is in South America. Thank you for the correction. Appreciate it. Greg writes, if one researches the history of race riots in U.S., until the 1960s, the Watts, New York, Cincinnati, etc., all the riots before then involved white mobs having attacked black areas, often the ones that achieved some success, such as Tulsa's Wall Street. Greg is on point. Glenn writes, Nate always causing a ruckus. I don't mean to. Glenn writes, independent media has its advantages. I agree completely. Hey, what's up, Tiffany? Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. We need to connect. Brenda writes, hello. Kermia writes, good morning. Lynn writes, was that when my son came in? Maybe. Rachel writes, good morning, young Ken. Yeah, that was when he came in. He likes to heat, man. He is such a performer. You know, as somebody that does this, man, when your son wants to be like you, it is an awesome feeling. I've caught him all the time with his little fake microphone. Now we got him a real microphone, right? And he's doing his own little show, or he's doing my show. He's doing my show. Like, yeah, this is Nathan Ivey. I'm like, I love it. Keep it up, son. I love it. Don writes, that's love. Fatherhood is dope. I still can't get over the teacher using an all lives matter display in art class. I feel like I need to complain to the school board. Yeah, you do. You should complain to the school board. And the reason why is because it sounds like the teacher needs to be corrected. And I wouldn't start at the school board. I would start at the school. I would hit up the principal and let them know and have a direct conversation with them at the school first. Why am I telling you that? Well, number one, that's going to be the first line. Like if you go to school board or you go to superintendent or somebody at CPS and you say, I got an issue, but you didn't talk with the principal or at least attempt to talk with the principal, the first thing they're going to do is to tell you to go talk to the principal. That's what they're going to say. That's going to be, it don't matter what story you give them. That's what they're going to say. You talk to the principal, and if you say no, they're going to be like, go talk to the principal. So you might as well knock that out first. And then if you don't get the satisfaction you're looking for, I would kind of go up the ladder until you get to somebody that's got a concerned ear. Karamir writes, good morning, folks. Good to see you. Pam is in the house. She writes, my heart hurts thinking about what happened to the child in Chicago. Unfortunately, this happens more often than most people realize. Yes, the remote learning helped with this incident, but it also traumatized the entire class to witness this event too. That's Pam right there. She's a member of the school board. Hey, Pam, I'd love to connect with you on the show to get your thoughts about the thought process that led to your vote, if you're still listening. But she's absolutely right about that whole situation. Want to hear a story about CPS hiding $150,000 from Shorter High School? Hit me up. I'd love to share. Hiding $150,000. Okay, well, Jerome, I'm down for the conversation, man. Let's connect. Nathan, I get between 10 10,000 to 12,000 steps a day. Good for the mind and body. Wow. You putting it in, man. You talking about what? 3 miles? You talking about 3 miles plus a day? You know what I'm saying? You talking about nearly, if that's right around 3 miles, as I understand it, to get 10K. That's good though. 3 miles a day, you'll be on point. Kermia writes, excellent point. Love ourselves again and our brothers. Absolutely. Arnell writes, totally agree. Tiffany writes, they hit on that on the last episode of Lovecraft Country. I still got to watch that. People saying great things about it. Philosophy writes, you would love to hike out here in Colorado. It was a thing I've been missing, heart beating so good and hard. Then to look over at the mountains, man, that's life. You know, I've heard about it in Colorado, Philosophy. I would love to. I mean, I'm into this walking thing now. I just love it. I do. It's better. It's not better than basketball. But, the older you get, you want to get some high intensity, low impact cardiovascular in, get yourself some walks in. Get to walk up some of these steep hills in Ohio and Cincinnati. Man, you'll be on point. Trust me. You'll be on point. Kermir writes, excellent point. Love ourselves again and our brothers. Absolutely. Joe writes, race war won't work out too well for you, 13% of the population. Joe, I'm with you 100%. And again, if there's going to be a race war, then black folks, if this has anything to do with black folks, now we got to defend ourselves. It is what it is. But the real revolution, the real civil war needs to happen within our own family. That's where we need to start. That's where we're going to get the biggest bang for our investment dollars, is investing in us. You know what I'm saying? Getting back to healing black men, healing black women, healing the relationship, the rift, healing the effects of white supremacy within our own family first, and then starting to reach out to other folks. You know what I'm saying? It just makes sense to me. I would say the same thing about our U.S. foreign policy. I mean, it is what it is. We got to have a role in what's happening around the globe. I get it. I mean, geopolitical interest is a real thing. But, I mean, doesn't it pain you as an American citizen to see all this money and all this interest going to other folks, and we ain't got our ish together here in this country? We got to start at home as a country, as a family, as a unit. Start at home. Democrats, Republicans, that's a very important part of the game. But black family, healing black family, that's the most important, because we don't even know where we might be and how we might be thinking. If we can achieve that, it's just a few thoughts. Do with it what you will. We still too distracted by life. It's all a matter of perspective. We all share three things: life, death, and time. Time being the common denominator. We all have 24 hours a day. What's important to you? I'm with you 100%. Brent writes, 50 Cent, get rich or die cooning. You are hilarious on that, man. You know what? You get about 4 ABs on that one. You get about, John's still on the phone? Why is he on the phone? Clogging up my lines, John. All this time, John's been on the phone just listening. He will not get on the app. He will not go online to save his life. But where's the ABs at? Let me see here. Oh, my God. Let me see if I get that. This is Adrian Broner. Let me see. I don't know. I feel like I'm taking way too long on this.
But I can tell you who lost, and that was the American people.
Okay. What is that? Oh, that's Bob Johnson. Well, we forgot Bob Johnson. Remember Bob Johnson?
We're going to bring
he said this is Bob Johnson about 2 weeks ago.
Chairman of RLJ Companies.
We're talking about all these big-time celebrities talking about politics. He came out in an interview, I believe it was on some business channel, and he said that he'd rather roll with Trump, because the devil that you know is better than the devil that you don't know. Check this out.
And that was the American people. This was like a schoolyard fight over who has the best looking girlfriend. It was a waste of hour and a half that gave no guidance, no direction at all as to where the company will go after this election. But having summed it up in that language, where I come out as a businessman, I will take the devil I know over the devil I don't know any time of the week. And that.
We are a creator in a creator. Okay, I get it. Thank you, FG. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Okay, thank you. See my family looking out for me. I told you, my wife is the first producer of the show. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I have my mic off for a second. You know me. Let me see. Hey, Donnie, she's in the house. Dominique writes, what is he writing? 0? TNT writes, Nate, after all this COVID-19, we have to get you and Derek to do another fireside chat on politics. He always asks about you. Really? I had a good time, man. Thank you for the invite for that. Well, I mean, let's do a virtual one. I like hey, let's make it happen. We can make it happen virtually and do a fireside chat, he and I, because there's so much to talk about. And Derek Bozeman is a very popular voice down in WAOK. I mean, a lot of my Atlanta friends, they all are hip to him, and they say that he is a very, very loud voice for the black community down in Atlanta. I like to get to the brother with some other ideas as well, TNT. Now that you got my wheels spinning here, I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Just called in, just tune in. Is that John? Negro, please. Yeah, that was John. Kristen Welkers from Philly went to Harvard and will mute mics for 2 minutes during initial response to questions. Right. Donnie writes, why are we still watching the debates? I'm done. So you already voted. That's what a lot of people haven't. She's so focused, she deleted her Twitter 1.5 weeks ago. Okay, cool. I'm with that. Candyman writes, shaking my head. Y'all being entertained by this movie. Don't get your feelings hurt when your favorite don't make it. Is that right, Candyman? Eric writes, what in the propaganda is going on in here? In the propaganda? Janine writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Let me see here. Tonight's candidates forum, Judge Ralph Winkler versus Pavin Parikh, tonight at 6 p.m. Cincinnati NAACP Facebook Live, presented by Prince Hall Masons and Cincinnati NAACP. That's right. Yeah, check out. Listen, if you haven't voted yet and you got any question marks about any of the candidates in the major, in all of the races, any of the races, go to the Cincinnati NAACP's Facebook page, go to the video tab, and just look at their archives of videos, and you're going to get a chance to see everything from the prosecutor's race minus Joe Dieters, because Joe Dieters doesn't care enough about black people to show up at the Cincinnati NAACP Prince Hall Forum. It's a damn virtual forum. Somebody suggested maybe he was, I don't know, out of commission or not really in a place to effectively communicate. Somebody suggest that in a forum of that nature. But I mean, it's virtual. All you got to do is turn on your computer from your house. You couldn't even do that. What time is it? Listen, folks, I got to make a move. You know me, I will stay here all day and rock with you. You know I love doing the show, but I got to make a move. Don't forget, coming up today at 1 p.m., Midday Juice with Ask Ashley. And at 7 p.m. today, you've got Valet Service with Fast Pitch, 2 excellent new podcasts being produced and presented by Sin Digital Media. You can watch live on our Facebook page. I appreciate you in advance. Have an excellent rest of your day. I got to make a hard stop and make a move this morning, and we'll talk real soon. Please like and share this stream so that more people can know about the show and also the platform that we're building to amplify Black voices, Sin Digital Media. I'll say it again. Please like and share today's show.
Yeah.